St. Louis Blues look to pick up their 11th straight win in a row tonight as they take on Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins in what could be his last trip to St. Louis. I don't really know yet and whatnot, if he's coming back next year or not. We'll see. Let's talk about the Blues Penguins game tonight, though, at Enterprise here on the Blues No pregame show. My name is Brandon. That's Brandon. There's James with us. You see Brandon and James over on the Blue Note show every Sunday-ish, I guess.
Yeah, every Sunday, 8 p.m. Central Time.
We don't rest on Sundays here.
Yeah, no rest for the wicked, apparently. Guys, how you doing? How you doing?
Doing good. Just another day in paradise, my friend. Getting ready for a fun Blues game to watch.
Yeah, it should be interesting. James, how are you?
Great, man. Great. I got my buddy right here, Louis, the Louis Totem Pole, ready to rock it tonight.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I'm glad to have you guys here. Let's talk some Blues hockey for our pregame show here. You know, going to that game against Detroit the other night wasn't pretty. They were kind of all over the place. They still managed to pick up two huge points because they got they after last night's Minnesota overtime loss, they are now tied with the Minnesota Wild now for the wild card spot, rather 1 or 2. Right now they are in wild card 2 instead of wild card 1 due to tiebreaker things between the Blues and the Wild. But and I think games played.
It's regulation wins right now for Minnesota and the Blues because Minnesota has more regulation wins than the Blues do.
So the ROW thing, whatnot. So again, big game tonight as they take on their final Eastern Conference game of the season, I believe, as well as the Pittsburgh Penguins come to town. There's only 5 games after tonight.
Yep.
Too. So we're wrapping up towards the end of the season. 10-0 in their last 10. How do you feel going into this one? The last time the Blues lost, they lost 5-3 to these Pittsburgh Penguins. James, what do you think? How do you think tonight's going to go?
I think that if they come out and play like they're supposed to, attacking the net, taking shots, and not just letting Tristan Jarry give up rebound after rebound, capitalize on the rebounds, I think that's going to be a Blues win. They dominated them in that game, but they just apparently, like I told Brandon last week, that Tristan Jarry apparently resurrected, Tom Barrasso and Marc-Andre Fleury and just held them to 3 goals. So the key to that is if they come in strong, they can tie the franchise record tonight.
Yeah, it's a record that they haven't touched since 2019, with the same year that they won the Stanley Cup. I know there's a lot of similarities, I think, between the 2 runs, but it'll be interesting to see how it all kind of works out in the long run. Brandon, how are you feeling about tonight's game?
I feel good about tonight's game. I mean, you can't sleep on any of these teams right now, especially where we're at in the season. I mean, a lot of people probably thought the other night's game against Detroit was going to be easier game than probably what it probably made out to be. I sure thought it was going to be easier than what it came out to, right. But it really shows that Detroit is still in somewhat of a playoff picture, or trying to get into the playoff picture in the East. But I mean, still, you can't sleep on some of these teams that are out of the playoff race. Or, I mean, Pittsburgh, I don't think is out of it, but I don't think they're really in it per se. But you still can't sleep on this team, especially with Evgeny Malkin, Sidney Crosby, and a lot of the other firepower that this team has.
Yeah, it's they haven't been playing awful hockey lately. They're 6-3 and I think what I saw 6-3-1 in their last 10 games. So they're playing fairly well at this point of the season. who's a player for the Penguins that the Blues need to just kind of obviously they have a lot of older names, but big names still. Names like Brian Rust, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin. Who's a guy that the Blues need to just kind of shut down or get just take control over for tonight's game, James?
I do know that tonight that Malkin is not playing, so that's a good factor. The biggest thing is you got to worry about is two people. I think it's going to be Sidney Crosby, who always comes to play, no matter who the opponent is. And honestly, they got to go after Tristan Jarry. He is not the goaltender that they made him out to be 10 games ago. He hasn't had a good season, and part of the reason why this team has struggled so much, and they're almost out of the playoff picture. So, got to be careful with Crosby. You've got to capitalize on Jarry. That is absolute importance.
Yeah. I just looking at his stats right now, Tristan Jarry is 13, 11, and 5 in the season, 3.21 goals against. And he has a 0.892 save percentage as well on the season. So we'll just see. It seems like that's a guy that they need to. The word I'm trying to think of. Just basically just keep doing what you're doing. Shoot the puck on net, get the rebounds, get those the nasty ones, the not so easy goals as well. Brandon, we look at this Penguins team though, and they're like you said, they're still fighting for a little bit of a playoff spot in. I think it was you, wasn't it? One of the two, whichever one you said it. Still fighting for a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. It's one of those games you don't want to look past.
No, because you got teams that you're going to be going up against later this week and into the rest of the remaining bits of the regular season, and you're going to be playing against teams that are doing a hell of a lot better. You're going to be going against Colorado on Saturday, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Seattle, and Utah for the last remaining games of the season. So, looking at this game and probably the two that are at the very end of the season, you're almost looking at those two or those three games as something that this team is going to have to come out and get any kind of points that they're going to get, because you know for a fact that the 3 or 4 games in between there where you're going to be going to get up against some of the playoff teams that are already in the West, they're going to be a lot harder games that you're going to be playing against than just the 3 that are kind of on the outlying teams. Yeah. So tonight's a very important game for that aspect.
Yeah. So jump over to our keys tonight to tonight's game for the Blues to get a win. James, what's some keys for you outside of getting the puck past Tristan Jarry?
Really, the biggest thing is they have got to not have this Pittsburgh defense close up the middle. They have to get those high danger shots against Tristan Jarry. That's where he falters more. They were pushing the Blues to the outside a lot in that last game, even though they were out skating them. They were not getting good quality shots. So the key to this is they have to play their tempo. They have to play their game. You notice the last few games, the offense has been there, but hasn't been there like it has been in the past. So, we've had a couple 2-1 games, a 3-2 game. This needs to change. They need to get goals in the nets. They need to get past him. That's the biggest element. So, I know that Monty said earlier with the Detroit win, he said this team did not play their best, and yet they still won.
Right.
I want them to come out. I want them to play their best. They got to play well against with Joe Hofer in the net, and they just have to play they have to play what they've been doing to get these 10 wins. Those 5 goal games were super ideal, and that's what they need to do is get more pucks, more high danger shots to really test the goaltender and get past this defense.
Yeah, that's fair. Brandon, what are some of your keys for tonight's game for the Blues?
James took a couple of mine, but obviously puck movement. You got to be able to move the puck with this team as well as we have with other teams. I mean, we didn't get a whole lot of chances against Tristan Jarry whenever we played him a few weeks ago. I mean, we did, but we didn't. And they got to really be getting those high danger chances, like James said. If you can get the puck around the net and getting the rebounds off of the first initial shots, you got to have guys on the back doorstep or even just crowding the net to try to get the rebounds, because Jarry is really good at making those initial saves, but he tends to not really get a hold of the puck all that well against the first initial shot, and what creates those rebounds for the Blues. And if they have what they usually have, 2 to 3 guys crashing that after the first initial shot, I feel like the Blues can get goals on Tristan Jarry.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. I think just getting the puck, at least for me, getting the puck on net. You saw it the other night, and the final seconds of the Detroit game. Just getting the puck on net and seeing what happens. And you need a big game from Joel Hofer. He hasn't played in a couple of games now. So he's gonna, see a little ice time tonight, and so we'll see how he fares out. But I think a big game from Joel Hofer. Defense continues to keep doing what they're doing, keeping the puck in front of them, not letting those little slip ups that we see, occasionally continue to happen. Earlier I mentioned how similar this 11-game win streak is to the 29, or this 10-game win streak is to the 2019 11-game win streak. This is just things from I guess it's Mike Kelly is the one who shared it. So Mike Kelly at Mike Kelly NHL shared this earlier on goals against. So during the 11-game stretch for the Blues, their goals against were first with 1.45. Their expected goals against was 2.44, which was first. The slot shots against was also first at 11, and the rush chances against was 9th at 5.7 per game. In this 10-game stretch in this 10-game win streak so far as well. So you get goals against is first at 1.40. Expected goals against is is third at 2.47. Slot shots against is 9.9, first in the league per game. And then rush chances against is 3.1. So it just goes to show how well at least the defensive side of the puck of the play for the Blues has been, which is kind of phenomenal in sort of a way, because you're still without your so-called top guy in Colton Parayko.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, being able to do what they've been able to do and not have their top defensive guy has been pretty awesome. I mean, best way to put it. I mean, when you lose a guy like Colton Parayko, that's a pretty beneficial piece to your team. I mean, that's your number one defenseman on your first line. So and losing him, yeah, you're going to have guys step up. And I mean, we talked about it a little bit on last Sunday, and I think even in the pregame show, the acquisition that the Blues made right around the Winter Classic with getting Cam Fowler has benefited the Blues tenfold, I would say, because I mean, just seeing the contribution and everything that he has put into this team, and then just how everybody else has more or less followed after that, it's shown that the Blues have made the right moves in order to. I mean, you can't foresee losing a guy like Colton Parayko, but getting a guy like we did with Cam Fowler has been tremendous for this team, and just to have him for possibly a few years to come, if he gets re-signed, that would be awesome for this team.
Yeah, I know they have him under contract for at least another season. After that, I don't know. I saw another stat earlier too about it was who defensively for the Blues, like who's leading what, or like been the best defensive guy for the Blues. And Cam Fowler's number one since the Four Nations tournament for the Blues. He had like nine goals, so many assists and whatnot. Colton Parayko, though, still, again, not playing, but still up there with 10 goals in that time frame. So Any thoughts on the defensive play, James, of the Blues?
It's like you guys said, started the Cam Fowler. Before he came here, he didn't have a single goal. He had like 4 assists for the Ducks. So they weren't as mighty as they used to be. They traded him to the Blues, and now he's pretty much almost in the top 10 in all the NHL categories for defensemen since the Four Nations, and a little further out, since he came to the Blues. So he's the main thing, and also, we got to give credit to Philip Broberg. The guy has played phenomenal and has really blossomed into that next, number one defenseman for this team. He's not the first defenseman of this team right now, but who's to say in 2 years, if he's still, hopefully he'll still be here, but being here, he's been an absolute stud, playing the defense that needs to be played, clearing out the net, and he's getting those great outlet passes to the forwards to get them in, and he contributes offensively too. I don't know what his goals are since the Four Nations, but he's excelled. And also, it's good to see Justin Falk play the way Justin Falk has been tabbed to be since he came over to the Blues in 2020.
Yeah.
So you get those 3 guys, plus you get the other people in there, Letty and Suter, and and plus you get like Phil Kessel, you get Tucker. All these guys have contributed so much. The defense has been arguably the main reason why they've been as good as they have been. Of course, number 1 would be goaltending, but number 2 is definitely this defense, because they're not letting those extra shots get past Hofer or Binnington at this time. So kudos to the defense.
Yeah. Take a look at the Blues lineup for tonight's game. On the first line, I don't think anything's changed. Everything looks the same as it was against Detroit the other night, besides the goaltending change with Hofer in net instead of Binnington. Jake Neighbors, Robert Thomas, and Buchnevich lead the first line out tonight. In second line, you got Holloway, Braden Shin, Jordan Kyrou. On the third line, you have Bolduc, Sundqvist, Snuggerud. Fourth line, you have the WTF line. It's the funnest line out there right now. And Toropchenko, Fasca, and Walker. Defensively, in the first pairing, you have Cam Fowler and Nick Leddy, Philip Broberg, Justin Falk on the second defensive pairing, and then Suter and Tucker on the third, with, again, Joel Hofer in net. Again, both these goalies, I mean, I don't think it really matters who you throw out there right now. Both of them, neither of them have lost in quite some time. And you have Kessel, Texier, and Joseph as your healthy scratches tonight. Any surprises there? Are you surprised to see Snuggerud still in the lineup? You just, I mean, I know they sent Dvorsky down today for basically keep Snuggerud. It's the only way they could keep him in the lineup to play regularly every night.
Personally, I'm not surprised, but yeah. I mean, he out of the 10 minutes that he played the other night, I feel like that he gave it his all. He did everything that he could for the team. He was good on the puck. He distributed it well. He had a couple of different chances at a goal, and then he almost had a couple of assists. So I feel like he's well deserved of getting the slot tonight to be able to play against Pittsburgh.
Yeah. James, any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Brandon. Snuggerud he showed a lot of flash, a lot of flair, looking good out there for the offense. It's good to see him out there one more time, give him another shot, maybe his last chance. Just depends on what happens here. So I'm excited to see it. I like seeing these lines. These combos are good. Defensive pairings are really set up well. I mean, they've won 10 with the same group, other than a change here and there with a player here and there. So
yeah,
why change the wheel right now? Let's go with everyone that you can, and let's see what they do. Yeah,
I agree. I don't think it needs to be too drastic of a change across the lineup. Everything's working right now. The top 2 lines are putting up points, they're getting goals and whatnot. Robert Thomas is still on. I think he's still on his point streak. 11.9 points now.
I think so. I think that's right.
Yeah, something on that order. So yeah, we'll see how tonight's game goes. Any final thoughts for tonight's game? We'll go with you, James, first, or whoever wants to go. Honestly,
go ahead.
In my opinion, I think we're going to see number 11. I think we're going to see tie this record. I think it's going to be they're going to come out ready to go. They were mad. I think they were deep down mad that they got outplayed and beat by Pittsburgh 10 games ago.
Yeah.
I think they're going to make a statement here tonight.
Sounds good. Brandon, what do you think?
I mean, I think they'll have a good shot at extending it. I think with the way that these guys have been playing together, whenever they get down, they've always found ways to get back into games. They've been able to win games regardless of how games really go, it seems like. So I feel like if they can get out early and get goals in or pucks in the back of the net, I feel like they're going to be doing well. And I feel like a few of these guys are ready to have kind of breakout games again, because a few of them have kind of, you haven't really seen much from a few of these players on this team over the course of the last couple games, and I feel like they're probably due to have a few points probably within the next couple of games, and hopefully that comes out tonight.
Yeah. There you have it. It's our Blues pregame show here, STL Sports. We will. I don't know if we'll be back. We'll try to be back here later tonight for a postgame show. Those are a little bit harder to do during the week. I won't lie right now, but we'll see what happens. Brandon, James, thanks for jumping on today for our pregame show here. You catch the Blues and the Penguins battle it out tonight as the Blues look to get 11 win in a row tonight at Enterprise. Starts at 7 p.m. You catch it on FanDuel Sports Network or over at 101 ESPN as well if you're listening to an audio wise. That's all for us, and we'll see you on the next one.